Mr. Chairman, distinguished participants. My name is Baruki Kaale. I'm a forestry and energy specialist. I've been working for a long time with the United Nations and the World Bank. Also happen to be one of the international panelists for the Rio 20. So I very much enjoyed my stay in Brazil. My paper is quite small. I want to share here our experience in Tanzania. During the last 50 years, in Tanzania we had a lot of forest. We didn't even bother about forest. But within 50 years, we have lost most of our forest. Now we are in a challenge to turn the situation around. That in the next 50 years, we have forest. Main objective is to form collective efforts. I think we are here, and the value for money for us to be here is that we form collective efforts. By the time we go home, we make a change in our forest. And how is that we are being able to share our knowledge? Because if the population, if the community are well informed about the benefits of forest and the impact of losing forest, definitely there will be, as we all here, conserve the forest. So as I say in my presentation, I'll try to use Tanzania as a sample, but I'll cover more about East Africa and Africa in general, or Southern Africa. Maybe if you want to know about Tanzania, Tanzania is in Africa, and our land is about 80 million hectares. Our population by 2013 about 45 million, and actually our population have almost tripled since 1967 when we carried our first population census. And we have a vast resource of natural resources. There's a lot of investment opportunities on natural resources in Tanzania, both in wildlife, forestry, etc. In terms of economy, I think in Tanzania, the agriculture sector is identified as the main backbone of our economy. It provides almost 27.7% of the GDP, and it employs almost 75% of the people. Unfortunately, forestry is not identified as a major priority, although, as we are going to see, forestry provides the backbone of the country in terms of water, in terms of resources, in terms of biodiversity, in terms of all these things. But unfortunately, all these things are somehow undervalued, or foresters have not been smart enough to educate the other people the value of our resources. Now, I go straight to forestry. In Tanzania, we have got two types of forest. We have got protective forest, where you are not allowed to harvest legally, and we have got productive forest. Productive forest, we are allowed to harvest. Our productive forest, by last year, with about 21 million hectares. I'll give you the landscape or the land use data for Tanzania as we go on. However, we already studied last year, a very detailed study, and it showed that the available wood, in terms of mean annual increment for our foresters, almost the profit, was only about 46 million hectares. However, our wood consumption in year 2012 was 87.2 million hectares. This means that we are over-harvesting by almost 41 million hectares, consequently creating deforestation. Honorable Chairman was asking me about our rate of deforestation. Okay, what happens? Anyway, very briefly, if you want to see the land use characteristics of Tanzania, is what is on that table. You can see productive forest. We've got only about 21 million hectares, and the protective forest, mainly for water catchment, etc., about 9 million hectares. But we've got a lot of wildlife areas in Tanzania, Ngorongoro, Serengeti, and so forth, This takes about 18 million hectares, and there's a lot of the other land uses. But what we are saying that, even the agriculture sector, I'm talking of landscape situation, in the agriculture, everywhere, trees can grow. Even in the urban areas, we talk of urban forestry, we can grow a lot of trees within our urban areas. So eventually, we're not only talking of forest within the forest, but we're encouraging tree growing whenever trees can grow. Now, I wanted to talk a bit, we as foresters, there's what we call growing stock. You see, if you are a child, if you are a mother, your child has to grow. Every year, the child has to grow. If the child is not growing, you are in trouble. So, it's what we call growing stock. We can measure the available wood in a hectare, and you provide the figure, and we can measure the annual increment. So, in 1961 in Tanzania, 1 hectare of forest, the growing stock, the total solid wood in a hectare was around 180 cubic meters of solid wood. And the mean annual increment, this is the increment per year, annual, was around 5. But based on our detailed study of 1920, we found that the growing stock per hectare have declined from 180 to 50. It's a big decline. The area is the same, but what you can harvest there have declined significantly. But also, the mean annual increment have declined from 5 to 2. What happened now? This change have created a deforestation rate. Deforestation here, I am saying, is where harvesting is taking place without requisite regeneration. So a deforestation rate in Tanzania per annum is over 400,000 hectares. What happened here? Not going again? Okay, sorry, it is going. Anyway, that graph there just shows you the change. You can see 1961, you can see the blue. And you can see 2012. You can see where we are, okay? You have to go fast. If you compare the production and consumption, we can see in 1961, you can see the blue one, with a lot of surplus wood. We didn't even bother about the wood scarcity. But believe me or not, in 50 years, my friend, 2012, you can see the blue and the red. What happened is that we are losing our forest. Anyway, when we talk of deforestation, if you come to the sub-Saharan Africa, it's not only Tanzania is facing a problem. It's a problem for Africa, it's a problem for many other countries. I just provided some table here covering East Africa. Our friends in Rwanda is a very small country. They've initiated very intensive farmland tree planting, and they don't have deforestation. This means that all of us, we can avoid deforestation if there's a will. I think the figures we see there, and you can see Tanzania, we are really leading. You see, opportunities for saving forests exist. This one is a sample of a photograph of a farmer, a family. They've only conserved their natural trees. You can see how it looks like. It's quite healthy, and there's a lot of wood there. Schools in Tanzania, our children have to know the importance of trees and how to plant trees, so we are telling them to, in the school, they plant trees. This is a school plantation, where the school, they plant the trees, and they've got some money, the energy for their survival. See, we are not interested of talking or maintaining a faction. I hope by being here, we're not maintaining a faction, but a position. By the time we go back, I hope we are going to maintain a function by making a change. So we are holding a lot of meetings to educate the people, to discuss with them, use their traditional knowledge, what is actually happening. How does changes of forestry affect their life now and in the future? Now, normally we do conduct extension In the past, we normally use only men, they come for a seminar and so forth. Then later we say, no, we have to have women. But we forgot. We also need the children. So we conduct extension involving from the children, the whole household. Because if you plant a tree and the child decides to kill it, you have already lost. So it is a combined effort. And we show all the people, the governor and so forth, we go as a team to create the awareness. So when there is a combined awareness and the people understand, children, old, young, there is success. When I'm saying I'm looking tree, for those who have been in Tanzania, as you move from Arusha to go to Ngorongoro or to Serengeti, this is the type of landscape you see. I used to be in Arusha I took my 1970-75. This area was covered with dense acacia trees. There was a lot of elephants and some giraffes were eating the acacia. But now, this is the type of landscape we are facing, as we saw from our friends. But this place in Mwanza, I don't know if somebody has been in Mwanza. I worked in this area as a first officer in 1973. It was composed of dense Miombo woodland. When I went there last year, this is what it is. They've cleared all the trees, and they have no mother trees there. It means here, for trees to grow here, you have to plant, because there are no more seeds on the ground. They've lost even the mother trees. This is a central government forest reserve, about 65,000 hectares. They've been invaded by illegal charcoal burners. They've cut most of the trees. They cut it at night. It's a problem even to control them. So you've got the forest by area, but the stock there is almost nothing. These are the people who are conducting. You can see there's a road there. But this road, because they've destroyed the forest, last year there was serious floods and they destroyed the road. So when you construct a road and you ignore the forestry, you are also in trouble. The road was impassable. I have to go fast. Now, what are the main underlying causes of forest loss in Tanzania? Actually, we found that in Tanzania, over 96% of the total wood energy used in Tanzania is used in the form of firewood. We mainly cook with firewood. A firewood it is used daily. Compared to a chair, if you make a chair, you can use it for 3 or 5 years. But firewood, my mother, she has to cook every day. So we use a lot of wood. Now, it says, if you conduct analysis of the population using firewood in Tanzania for cooking, actually almost 94% of the people are using firewood. And we conducted a study in 2005, wanted to reduce the number of people using firewood from 90 to 80. But the year 2010, you conducted another study, the number of people using firewood has increased from 90 to 98 instead of declining to 80. This means that our assumptions were wrong. Now, what happens that? I would like to, what is actually contributing to that? If you check the total energy balance of Tanzania, but also for most other sub-Saharan African countries, you find that biomass accounts for over 80% of the total energy used in the sub-Saharan African countries. However, when it comes to allocation of funds, biomass or forestry, we are not given funds. So if you don't have funds, how do you sustain yourself? That's the problem. So, what is the value of this wood? They say agriculture is the main sector. We conducted a study last year, and we found that the value of wood products used in Tanzania, firewood and charcoal, was worth $5.1 billion US. However, the government, they say coffee and tea are the major development factors, but their value was only $105 million US. 5.1 billion is a minor, 105 million is a major. So foresters were not getting money. Why are we not getting money? That's what I'm trying to explain. So as I said that we have moved from abundance to problem. So one of the issues was that in the earlier days, there was a lot of forest, so politicians did not see a need to put effort, but now they have changed. And our value of forest is underestimated, and we foresters have never been strong enough to tell the president, to tell my friend, we're not going to survive if the forests are gone. So I think this team as a world team are going to have some impact. As I discussed that, why is these Africans are depending on firewood? Why can't they switch to other energy sources? Why can't they switch to electricity? My friend, you see, the best way of survival is to use what you have efficiently and effectiveness. In Africa, the trees are growing, they are there, they are renewable, they can be used effectively. Our problem is that the use of firewood in Africa would be my mother. We use very inefficient stoves, which we can easily change. The efficiency of our stoves is about 7%. They can easily change it to 25% and reduce the wood consumption. Now we use about 1.5 cubic meters. We can go to 0.5 cubic meter per annum per person very easily. But there's no money. There's no money to provide the extension, the skills, the people, to help the people. So we say, as we say that, if all Tanzanians, for example, we want to use electricity today to cook, we need an average of 60 to 70,000 megawatts. Since we attained independence, as I'm talking now, our total installed electricity capacity is 1,435. The peak demand is about 900, which is not even available. So if all Tanzania are going to cook with firewood, we need 60,000 meter cubed. How are we going to get that? So this, what have happened, our theory, which you put that people are going to switch if they get more money. What is happening? When people get more money in Africa, they use more commercial energy sources. Instead of their wife going to collect firewood, the husband buys firewood. Instead of cooking with firewood, the husband buys charcoal or have a small mix of LPG or electricity. But LPG, for example, in Tanzania, it is all imported. So somebody cooking with the liquefied petroleum gas in Tanzania means he is cooking with foreign currency, but not to create any foreign currency. Time does not allow, maybe we can discuss further. So what is happening is that the theory for upward fuel switch using the ladder is not happening. What is happening, actually, people are using lower quality biomass fuels like cow dung, sisal, and so forth, which is very detrimental to their health. What I want you to share, and maybe we as a group here, is a policy failure on forestry development. When I was in Brazil during the Rio 20, forestry were not given highest priority. I don't know who was there last year in 20 in Brazil, Rio. We did fight, but forestry, we are not given very high priority. We did fight and fight. There's a policy failure. First of all, most of the people, they consider biomass as a traditional dirty energy. It's regressive and environmentally destructive, tolerated rather than encouraged, accepted as an avoidable source of energy until other more desirable options become available or affordable. And the main source of energy for the poor is not true. I say the poor is not true because a study in Dar es Salaam, which is the most commercial energy source in Dar es Salaam, 98% of the population in Dar es Salaam are using biomass. 98% is not the poor. So policy failure has been a problem, and I could say it is we foresters that we need to help our policy understand that forestry is a key sector for our development. When we come to biomass, I think time does not allow, but we have got a lot of other modern technologies, and our friends discussed a lot. Through modern technology, we can increase the production of forest per unit significantly by using improved siliclones, also by using efficient utilization of the products. In this way, we are going to get sawn timber, we are going to get timber for carving, we are going to get timber for everything. So there is a need. In Tanzania now, we have also encouraged, instead of relying on government alone, we have now encouraged the private sector. Private sector now is coming very strongly in planting forest, in particular large forest plantations. And we are trying to have multiple forestry use. You produce the stem not only for sawn timber, but nowadays, for example, I'm talking of cogeneration. We can produce a lot of electricity now. All the waste, it is used for electricity production. And in Tanzania, we have got almost 150 megawatts of electricity now produced through cogeneration, which is very cheap. I think the comparative advantage of biomass, we all know because we are foresters here, it is a renewable source. It can grow almost everywhere. You see, it is cheap. You can use it for multiple uses. You can grow a tree, you get mangoes, at the same time, you get firewood. At the same time, you get sunwood. At the same time, you get environmental protection. In the evening, you sit under a tree, you get a shade. So there is a lot of multiple issues. And in terms of we in Africa, in East Africa, our climate is very favorable. And we can use the trees to produce electricity, to produce biogas, to produce liquid fuels. All these opportunities are there. Mr. Chairman, distinguished delegate, time does not allow me, we can discuss further. But my main conclusion is that we really need concerted efforts and to make our stay here meaningful and we maintain a function and value for money. Through concerted efforts, we can change this world by ensuring that the forests are maintained. We are not after forests, we myself. We are after inclusive growth of the people. We are fighting for development of the people, not the trees. So we want to say that we want to have common senses and the sharing of knowledge that if we conserve the forest, we are improving the livelihood of the people, we are improving our situation in this world. Thank you very much.